We're going to bring on a young lady who's in Hawaii. She's tomorrow, though. We're just not going to interview some random Hawaiian on here.
Hey.
Oh, brother.
Ooh.
But we're going to bring on to the K-Wave News Zoom room Chyloe Leon Guerrero. And Ken, go ahead and take it away. Chyloe, good morning.
Good morning. Ouch.
Hey Shiloh, how you doing? So Chris, he sent us some pictures in our little chat about a clothing line that you have created, a sustainable clothing line. Maybe you could elaborate a little bit more on what you've created and why you created it.
Yeah, I created and what I like to call environmentally friendly activewear line, just because that sustainable word gets thrown out a lot, kind of loosely these days, and a lot of people don't really fully understand what it means to be sustainable. But I call it environmentally friendly just because the fabrics that I chose to use for this activewear line are recycled fabrics. So what that means is I have fabrics that are made out of plastics that you find in the ocean, things that are washing towards the ocean, things that we give to recycling collection centers, and they take those plastics and repurpose it. They melt it down into, the whole plastic production process is they wash it into flakes and they melt it down into pellets, and then they melt down those pellets to create what's called filament, and those filaments are what are used to make yarn to make into fabrics. So all of my fabrics are all made out of recycled plastics. I have a couple of different fabric options that I'll spare you guys all the technicalities of it all. But the reason why I wanted to create this activewear business is because I saw the need for this for recycled activewear. There was a space that needed to be filled, especially here in Hawaii and Guam. I'm sure, all of us Pacific Islanders, we kind of share the same sentiments about that. And, growing up my entire life, people always told me, Chyloe, you need to get into swimwear. Swimwear is where it's at. You can charge so much money for just this little bit of fabric. Sure. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool. I like the beach just as much as any other islander, but that just wasn't something I was passionate about enough to get into. But activewear is something I can resonate with a little bit more, just because not only am I creating fabrics, an opportunity for people to buy fabrics that are recycled, but I'm also contributing to people living healthier, active lifestyles. So that was the need I saw that needed to be filled. I wanted to do it, and I made it happen. Long story short, that's how I did it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So you mentioned that you get these recyclable materials, I guess, processed in a way so that it produces like the thread or whatever for your apparel, right? Are these recyclable materials from the area you live, like in Hawaii, or are these, outsourced from, I don't know, some other country and brought to you?
Yeah, so I wish, unfortunately they're not, but I absolutely wish they were. I'm constantly thinking 1,000 miles ahead of where I'm currently at with my position, or where my business stands right now. So I'm already thinking ahead to what is the end of life for my activewear, for my customers that are buying my activewear, or even for the activewear they already have while they're buying my activewear. That's something I'll have to deal with in the future. I would love to be able to use plastics that are washing up here in Hawaii. That's something I'll pencil down and see if I could do. But for right now, the fabrics that I'm using are made in places like Italy or Taiwan. They're kind of from all over the world. They are fabrics that are very well known for amongst high-end retailers and brand names that we're all pretty familiar with. Companies like Volcom, H&M, Adidas, and Nike, they all use these fabrics, Quicksilver and Roxy too. So they are, like I said, they're made in Italy. My favorite one is made in Italy. They're made in Taiwan. My manufacturer is the garment manufacturer is in Indonesia, in Bali. And I was very, very picky about who I was choosing to make these garments for me, because I knew that the garment manufacturing industry is a sticky one. Sure. And I wanted to make sure that my product was 100% as ethical as I could possibly make it. Otherwise, I could just not justify myself going into business knowing that somebody somewhere in the world was being disadvantaged by my business. I couldn't sleep at night if that was the case. So my garment manufacturer, as well as my fabric manufacturers that I use, they're all sustainable and ethical the entire step of the way. I developed a pretty close relationship with my garment manufacturer. I'm constantly on WhatsApp or Instagram messaging her and her friend, her coworker, who has become my friend. Actually, we're pretty close. They send me pictures. We video chat and everything. So I pride myself in the fact that I've developed such a personal relationship with these girls, these women, and that they are able to contribute to a positive impact in the garment manufacturing industry, being sure that they're giving their employees adequate time off, clean work facilities, medical care, food, and all of that. For example, it was just Ramadan. And a lot of my manufacturer's employees celebrate that. So she was very, very clear with me that she would be taking this much time off from her business to give her employees that time off so that they partake in their personal lives and their spiritual journeys. And I told her, by all means, do not let me be the reason why your employees are not able to celebrate that for themselves. I don't want to have to take that away from them. So I said, please, fast fashion is the reason why these people in these least developed countries have such minimal resources and minimal rights. And so slow fashion is what I'm going for. And if that means, I have to take my business a little bit slower, I have to respect the process that my manufacturer is going through in developing her team, her business, and my business in turn, then I'm all for it.
That's awesome. I think it's very admirable that you obviously have taken these social issues at heart and made sure that you account for the different ethnic values or cultural values of your suppliers and manufacturers. So I think that's very cool. I have a bunch of questions to ask you, I find this topic, I find your business pretty interesting, but before I lose like this one particular question, I'm just going to go and ask it. So can you tell the difference in the material that you use from, I guess, the traditional fabrics used for activewear? Like, does it feel like when it gets wet from sweat, is it more slippery, or is it wicking up the moisture just as well?
That's actually a really good question, and no, you can't tell. In particular, there is a very specific manufacturing process that the fabric manufacturer in Italy, I know for sure, they pride themselves on, is that they can recycle their plastics and turn it into a nylon that is pretty much infinitely recyclable because the quality is there. A lot of times, as I'm sure you're familiar, when you recycle things, the recycled product ends up diminishing in quality and usability, but that's not the case with these fabrics that I'm using. They're all moisture wicking. They're all some of them are also even UV repellent, or they've got that UV properties in them.
Sure.
And moisture wicking. Yeah, you said that. I said that. And yeah, all of the general activewear properties that you see in a lot of the bigger name brands is what I've got in Kumana Activewear.
That's awesome. Earlier in the interview, you had stressed how one of the things you wanted to focus on was making sure that your product had the long lifespan. So I just wanted to see if you could clarify. How long do these garments last? I mean, are you seeing a distinct difference in the the lifespan of this versus like a cotton fabric, or?
Right. That is also a really good question. But I'm gonna have to research exactly how long these garments last in terms of like how many washes it can go through, how many wears it can go through. I can tell you that something that I'm really pushing for my customers to be conscious of is how they're laundering their garments. because a lot of people don't really know that cold water is how you want to launder your garments. For the most part, I could guarantee you could check all of your clothes in your wardrobe and it's probably going to say cold water. I know some people do some hot water sometimes, and also tumble dry on low heat if you're tumble drying at all. Okay. So my activewear, I have it written on my website. I have it written on my Instagram. I even send a thank you email with every purchase, specifically listing the laundry recommendations. Also, I recommend that my customers are using a delicates bag, and I specifically name Guppy Friend as a really great option that I like to use personally. Guppy Friend filters microfibers from entering the waterways when you launder your clothes, and it prevents snags too. So what I'm really, really pushing again is proper care of your laundry so that it does last a long time.
That's great. Chris had a question too about the profitability of an industry like this, because typically we will pay a higher price point for recycled quality materials. Are you finding any kind of issues with that on your end, or do the margins for you look sustainable or adequate for your needs, I guess?
Also, something that I've been working on is educating my customers on what it means to buy, like I said, fast fashion, knowing that when you're paying a lower price, odds are the people who made the garment that you're paying a lower price for probably aren't getting paid a fair wage either. And that speaks to the quality of the garment as well. So a higher priced garment doesn't necessarily mean a better quality and ensuring ethical standards in the garment manufacturing industry. However, with me, I can guarantee you 100% that that's where my price is a little bit higher, as you stated. It's because that this sort of industry can be more expensive. But it's all about educating my customers as to why that is so, and justifying it to them that this is why you can purchase a higher price item, is because it's better quality. There's a lot more research and sustainability that does go into it, and justifying to them that you're ensuring that the employees in the manufacturing facilities are being paid fair wages. I hope that answered your question. I feel like I'm just going off on a tangent.
No, that does.
Yeah.
I also wanted to find out, what is your general market niche? Like, are you looking to reach people in, Hawaii, or have you contacted people or distributors, retailers on Guam?
Yeah, there's actually a comment in here, Chyloe. Maggie comments, and what is her website? I think people want to buy this stuff.
It's kumanaactive.com. So KUMANA active.com. You can also find me on Instagram under the same handle @Kumana Active. You should be able to Google me too. I should come up. Test my keywords and my SEO.
Google her. We'll definitely put up a link on our Instagram. I'll swipe up to it later today. So.
Oh yeah, sure. Are you playing my launch video?
There we got Chris is checking it out right now. So any immediate plans to be placed in any Guam retailers or Hawaii local establishments? Or
I would love to. I'm actually really picky about what doors I want to be associating myself with, just because I'm that detail oriented. Even some of my friends here are saying, "Oh, you should get into Nordstrom and Ala Moana," which is our major shopping center here in Honolulu. And I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll see. I'd much rather set up a pop-up shop in a smaller local boutique, because that's more of my jive, and that's the kind of customer that I want to identify with. I'm really, really not trying to cater to the masses immediately. I want us to be able to start small and focus on education first, and then be able to grow from there. And if the masses want to be educated and want to contribute to environmentally friendly, ethical kinds of fashion, then I'm here for it. I'm all for it. But yeah, right now, if you have any any marketplaces or any smaller boutiques on Guam that might be interested, I'm all ears. You know, I'm super, super open to a lot of things. I'm very receptive to whatever you can throw my way.
Sure, great. What are your top sellers in terms of apparel items? Like we're talking like leggings or
yeah.
sports bra tops,
Surprisingly, it's not my leggings that are the top seller right now. It's the Racerback sports bra. And I've already sold out of a couple of sizes on that one, especially in black, which I fully expected because everybody wants to wear black for their workout gear. But yeah, the Racerback sports bra, the bike shorts are selling out. I'm already working with my manufacturer to get a second delivery to restock the black in some of those styles. And then I'm bringing on some new styles as well and some new fabrics and test that out, see how everybody likes it. And then based off of, whatever everyone likes, I'll bring back the products and the fabrics that people respond to the best. And we'll go move away from the ones that maybe not so much. But yeah, I see this as like this is a two-way relationship for me. I'm not here to, of course I have to make some sort of a profit, but the profit for me is not something that I'm super focused on, because to me it's as long as I can make my customers happy, they're gonna keep coming back to me and seeing me as that destination activewear brand that can provide sustainability, the environmentalism, and the ethical product.
No, thank you so much, Chyloe. It's a pleasure having you on the show to talk about your little business venture here that's very socially responsible, and that's a great idea. It's awesome. Like it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me.
Do you do guy stuff?
I want to, actually. A lot of people have been asking me for menswear, so trust me, that is on the horizon. I do want to.
All right. Well, when you come out with the size 38 leggings, let us know.
Size 40.
Dibs,
Who are you
dibs.
kidding about size 40?
Oh, size 40. My bad. I was being generous.
Got it.
Okay. Thank you, Chyloe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Have a good
there you
one.
go. Right on. I should have said size 38-ish, right, Ken?
38, around there.